I wanted to talk about why you won't find guys like Louis Rossmann coming out of the Asian continent. There's not many people like Louis or Aaron Yoon to begin with who are out there on the internet trying to teach people for free how they work day to day at their business that they run, telling you what it is that they do, how to do it step by step, and why they do things a certain way. So you'll be able to learn to do the same job without making all the same mistakes that they made, in hopes that you'll be able to achieve the same level of success, if not even greater, than what those guys have achieved for themselves. From personal observation, most guys like that seem to come mainly from America, some from Europe, as well as Australia. I've personally never encountered anyone who is truly altruistic from Asia, who's legitimately trying to teach you something without any strings attached. What's really funny about that is Asia is actually half the world's population. The world has 8 billion people. If you put the populations of China and India together, you get 3 billion people combined. Indonesia has 300 million people, which is the same population that the US has, despite them having a lot smaller land size than the US does. But there isn't a single person, even from a single subsection of the continent like Southeast Asia, teaching people how to do stuff that's beneficial to them, that makes them money, without trying to sell you a course that's $4,999, asking you to click their affiliate links or signing up for some kind of free trial or newsletter that eventually pushes you to paying a monthly subscription from them in order for them to teach you something. And I don't think anyone should mind paying someone else for their time in order to learn something. That's not my point over here. The problem is that just about all of them are doing this to make money first from selling their courses as their main goal, rather than actually passing along useful, usable information. So you get anywhere from vague to shit quality courses to just outright scams. If you disagree with all of this, don't just press the dislike button and leave a stupid ass comment like, this is not true, there's people like that in Asia too who are like Louis Rossmann, and then just pussy out and not leave any names. Tell me, show me the actual person like Louis Rossmann who releases all or even most of their content, like in the case of Aaron Yoon, for free, that's actually usable, actionable, who is from Asia. I want to be proven wrong over here. So leave a name if you disagree. Don't just pussy out with one of those vague comments that, I disagree. Now, to be fair, not everyone from America or Europe is like this, which is why Louis has complained in the past and recently complained about it again. So lucky me, I didn't have to go back in time on his channel to look for that old video where he mentioned that. So let me just play this clip real quick so you can get more context.
I thought if I paid people and I said, I will pay you to write articles on how to do all these things, that I would get a bunch of articles like this. And in reality, what I actually got were a bunch of fucking people telling me, Louis, you don't understand. I get that you want to pay me X amount of dollars to do all this, and that's a lot of money, but if other people know how to do what I do, that means less business for me. And I heard that throughout 2021, 2022, and a little bit of 2023. I burnt the fuck out on this Repair Wiki and just stopped caring. And I feel there's nothing that could have been done to make me less pro right to repair than dealing with people in my own industry. It was so frustrating because you don't see, thank you Joshua, you don't see this anywhere else. I don't see mechanics saying, if my neighbor knows how to fix this shit with his transmission, I'm out of work. If this person knows how to rotate tires or change oil, then I'm out of work. It doesn't fucking happen elsewhere.
You don't see this anywhere else is what Louis said in the clip just now, which is obviously telling that Louis hasn't been to Asia before, let alone Southeast Asia, because if he's getting frustrated and burnt out dealing with all these kinds of people in the Western Hemisphere, he'll probably get high blood pressure and have to be checked into a hospital as a result from dealing with the fucktards that we have here on this side of the planet. Over there, it's hard to find someone who has the mindset of teaching others what they do to make the world a little bit of a better place, who has the mindset of wanting to help lift other people out of the shitty living situations that they themselves were once stuck in not too long ago, instead of having this whole mentality of, if I teach someone how to do my job, they're going to start a competitor and run me out of business. But at least those kinds of people exist. Before someone twists my words, nice and kind people exist in Asia. I've seen random strangers help others out before, and hell, some random guy even helped me out last month when I had some car issues. That's not the same as someone like Louis, who runs a MacBook repair business, who has posted literally hundreds of videos over the last few years detailing how to do the exact same MacBook motherboard repair and other fixes that he does step by step without any subscription paywall or expectations that he'll get some sort of benefit. And those are the kinds of people that I'm referring to. Asia has a massive problem when it comes to sharing and caring, when it comes to actually useful information, and the whole culture of gatekeeping information like it's a goddamn state secret is so damn prevalent, even the kids do it. There was a time when I was 9 years old and I had just transferred to a new school, and there was this one kid I was trying to befriend. His name was William, and he ended up copying the school bookstore business that I talked about in another video the next year. And by the way, he now works as a director level person in Grab, the Asian Uber copycat. He was always a smart kid and a slick talker even at 9 years old, but even back then, he already had the same mentality that I described. I came to learn that he lived actually a few streets down from where I lived with my parents at the time, and I tried to use that as a thing to start a conversation with him and try to befriend him. So I told him that, hey, I heard that you lived in the same neighborhood, and if you do, like, that's where I live too. That's pretty cool, right? 9-year-old. And he immediately jumped out and said, why? Why should I tell you where I live? This is a goddamn 9-year-old kid we're talking about over here. He already knows how to say, I don't want to tell you this information because I don't know how it's going to benefit me. If anything, it might be to my detriment. That's how a lot of people in Asia love to think, especially in Southeast Asia. And then they get so defensive all the fucking time well into adulthood. It's just customary, especially in Southeast Asia, for people to refuse to tell you even what company they work for or even what they do for work, even if you know them. Like, the person that I'm dating recently met up with an ex-manager of hers from a previous company, and they catch up on a regular, so they're not strangers. Her manager actually left before she did. The company tried to terminate her employment with only her notice period without any additional compensation. Oh, Singapore, what a surprise. And this lady actually has been working at a prop firm since then. One of the guys that my girl works with in crypto actually wants to start his own company, and I told her that she should just tell him to go start a prop firm, which is exactly why she wanted to learn more about this from that ex-manager of hers. Obviously, she didn't tell her ex-manager that she wanted to know all of this because of this entire situation. But even during the course of the normal conversation, this lady refused to tell her where she was working. I was there when the question was asked, like, so what company are you working for right now? And the lady was like, oh, it's a prop firm. We fucking know, you've said it before. And she said, like, which one? And she says something like, oh, the company I work for like only serves like private clients and like crypto influencers, and just conveniently sidesteps the question of which company she worked for, the way that you see politicians avoid difficult questions on TV. Now you're probably like, bro, you just proved yourself wrong over here. Your girl tried to ask her ex-manager about her company so she could pitch that same kind of company to the guy she's working with so he can start one himself. That's why people keep information to themselves. If that's what you thought, no, bitch. You just proved me right over here. Because even if she was upfront with all of that, that lady wouldn't have looked through the lens of, oh, I'm an employee for a company which I've just told this girl isn't really doing well on the books, so my job might not be so secure in the immediate future. But she knows of someone who's thinking of starting a similar kind of company in the same industry. Well, if I shared this information with her, tell her what she needs to know, and this guy actually does start that company, that could be a place I could potentially jump to in the future. But no. Everyone in Asia usually jumps to the defensive. So they're thinking, how is this information going to benefit me if I tell it to this person? Oh, telling this other person might actually screw me over, because the more they know, the worse it is for me, because now I lose my information advantage. That's how a lot of people think, especially in Asia. You can see how this exact same mentality plays out when it comes to the culture of talking about salary as well. Most people in Asia and also Europe, especially in white collar, think that their salary is a top secret because it's a personal matter, because it's private information, because nobody can go to Glassdoor or levels.fyi to look up my job title and pay scale shared by literally dozens of other people working in the exact same industry or even sometimes in the exact same fucking company and found out information about my salary over there. No. Highly paid people like celebrities, sports players, big shot C-levels in companies talk about their salary openly all the fucking time. You can look it up in the freaking news. That's how, whether they're changing companies or football teams, they know what to negotiate for and if they're being lowballed. But keep thinking that your salary as a dime in a dozen office worker is a closely guarded state secret and nobody should know about it because you're so special and it won't benefit you to tell that number to anyone around you. What these secretive fucks don't realize is by not talking about how much they make, they're just fucking themselves over, because if everyone in society just behaved in the exact same way as they did, then you the secretive fuck, won't be able to judge if you're well paid, underpaid, or if you could be asking for a 50% jump in salary the next time you switch jobs. Because it's a secret, remember? No one's going to tell you the same way you're not going to tell anyone. The reason why I made this video was because I had a moment of weakness a few weeks ago where I had a lot of self-doubt and just low self-confidence for a couple of weeks and was skeptical as to whether the way I was trading was going to be profitable and sustainable over the longer term. So my reaction to that was I needed to learn up a new trading strategy just as a backup. And I noticed this one guy that I'm in the same trading group in who often posts about like this Fibonacci levels that he trades, and sometimes he literally makes a couple of $100 in a few seconds just trading these different fib levels. So that kind of made me interested. I was like, okay, this guy has a bunch of videos. I'm gonna watch all of this guy's videos. In fact, I'm gonna watch them multiple times. And by the end of that, I realized I just need to talk with a person because he's going to be able to answer my questions and give me information more directly than a one-way window of just watching his videos. And so I just DM'd him and asked him like, hey, I'm trying to learn up your strategy. I really want to learn it up. I've watched your videos multiple times and I just have a few questions that I'm hoping like you'll be able to answer. Now keep in mind, this is not someone who is leading this group, so he's not getting paid by me. He's not a person that I know. He doesn't know who I am. He's never met me before. He doesn't even know what my name is. And I'm just DMing him out of the blue, asking him to teach me the exact same trading strategy that he uses in order to make him money. And he's like, sure, let's hop on a call. And not only did he hop on a call, he hopped on a call that ended up going for 2.5 hours long, while he was supposed to be working his day job, his full-time employee job. How will you find such a person in Asia? This guy's living in America, by the way, and this is not the first time I've met someone like that in America. And I was telling the person that I'm seeing about how people like this are just so common in America and they barely exist in Asia, contrary to the propaganda that most of our family members have been fed, like America bad. You should never trust an American person because those people are treacherous, they're sneaky as fuck. Unlike those people from China who are not going to screw you over because China number one. People in Asia just like to keep all sorts of information closely guarded, thinking that it'll just benefit themselves, where most of the time it actually just fucks them over. And a lot of them are also sheep to the point where they never asked any questions. They just follow what they're told. So this whole mentality just keeps perpetuating itself from one generation to the next because nobody ever wonders like, how does gatekeeping all this information actually like make me better? How does it not benefit the rest of society and make the whole of society better, which in turn will eventually give me a benefit? Like they never think about stuff like that. It's really funny because in places like those intercultural communication classes like they have in fucking business school or corporate trainings in companies, they like to describe Asian countries as having collectivist cultures, which means that they prioritize groups over individuals, where society is so cohesive and less individualistic, unlike those nasty ass Western white people countries where those people are selfish as fuck. That might be absolutely true when they try to beat you into conformity for daring to have any freedom of thought or your own opinions. Like, where's your mask? You need to wear your mask to enter. You cannot enter without wearing your mask. Just because you're wearing workout clothes doesn't mean you don't need to wear a mask, because I see you in your workout clothes, but you're not working out. Therefore, you have to wear a mask. Okay? But when it comes to sharing information that will benefit the rest of society, that's a big no-no, because God forbid that someone know that you are making 200K a year while the press is telling people that the average salary in your industry is only 80K a year, and they manage to negotiate the exact same pay that you have at your next job. Because how am I supposed to be better than all those other people if they have the same information that I have? It must remain inside me, and I must not share it with anyone else. God forbid I teach anyone any beneficial skills that they can put to use to improve their quality of life, because they might start something to compete with me. Or better yet, they might start making money out of someone that I've never dared to venture into as a business, because being an employee provides me with a more stable income. So I'm never going to start my own business. But God forbid someone use the same knowledge and they do it to become even more successful than I am. And don't get me wrong over here. People in Asia love to share. They love to share food. They love to share advertising disguised as experiences and useful information paid for by companies to influencers. Travel tips. Check out this one restaurant you have to absolutely visit. This shitty no-name robot vacuum is exactly what you need to keep your house spick and span and clean. Oh my god, this new electric car is the bomb. Hashtag JQ China Electric Vehicle Car Company. They love to share brainrot that they see on social media, or like places like Facebook, or even places like Mothership or Must Share News, Weird Kaya. All of those are Asian counterparts to trashy tabloids like the Daily Mail and BuzzFeed, by the way. But they won't share any information that helps raise the tide that raises all the boats, because the few times that they do share information is when they get some sort of benefit out of it, which is pretty much why everyone who does it out of Asia is trying to sell you a course or shill some bullshit that you need to buy. And that's why you won't find guys like Louis Rossmann coming out of Asia. And again, if you don't think that all of this is true, don't be a pussy and leave a dislike and some angry comment saying that that's not true. You're just biased against Asian culture. Name the names of the people out of Asia who are doing shit like teaching everyone on the internet the tricks to their trade step by step, like Louis Rossmann is doing, with minimal to no shilling of their $10,000 cost or some kind of membership that they have to pay for that's only $3.99 a month. Do it, because I want to be proven wrong. That's it for today, and I hope you learned something. See you all in the next video. Goodbye.